Naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nandana and Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namaha Pankajanaabhaya Namaha Pankajamaliini Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. We are reading Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, and we are now moving on to chapter number 15, entitled Bali Maharaj Conquers the Heavenly Planets. So, in the weekend classes, we had other topics, but now we'll come back to Bhagavatam. Canto 8, chapter 15, Bali Maharaj Conquers the Planets. So we have discussed briefly about all the 14 Manus. Shukdev Goswami narrated who was the Manu, who were the Manuputras, who were the Devatas, etc. So now the topic is changing, or let's see what Shukdev Goswami is sharing to Maharaj Parikshit and how this conversation kind of started. So who would like to read the summary of this chapter? Anyone wants to read?
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay, Rakesh, Prabhu.
Chapter 15, Hare Krishna devotees. Bali Maharaja conquers the heavenly planets. This chapter describes how Bali, after performing the Visvajit yajna, received the benediction of a chariot and various kinds of paraphernalia for war, with which he attacked the king of heaven. All the demigods, being afraid of him, left the heavenly planets and went away, following the instructions of their guru. Maharaja Parikshit wanted to understand how Lord Vamanadeva, on the plea of taking three pieces of land from Bali Maharaja, took everything away from him and arrested him. Sukadeva Goswami responded to this inquiry with the following explanation. In the fight between the demons and the demigods, as described in the 11th chapter of this canto, Bali was defeated and he died in the fight. But by the grace of Shukracharya, he regained his life. Thus, he engaged himself in the service of Shukracharya, his spiritual master. The descendants of Bhurgu, being pleased with him, engaged him in the Visvajit yajna. When this yajna was performed, from the fire of yajna came a chariot, horses, a flag, a bow, armor, and 2 quivers of arrows. Maharaja Prahlada, Bali Maharaja's grandfather, gave Bali an eternal garland of flowers. And Shukracharya gave him a conchshell. Bali Maharaja, after offering obeisance to Prahlada, the Brahmanas, and his spiritual master, Shukracharya equipped himself to fight with Indra and went to Indrapuri with his soldiers. Blowing his conchshell, he attacked the outskirts of Indra's kingdom. When Indra saw Bali Maharaja powers, he went to his own spiritual master, Brihaspati, told him about Bali's strength, and inquired about his duty. Brihaspati informed the demigods that because Bali had been endowed with extraordinary power by the Brahmanas, the demigods could not fight with him. Their only hope was to gain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, there was no alternative. Under the circumstances, Brihaspati advised the demigod to leave the heavenly planets and keep themselves somewhere invisible. The demigods followed his orders, and Bali Maharaja, along with his associate, gained the entire kingdom of Indra. The descendants of Bhrigu Muni, being very affectionate to their disciple Bali Maharaja, engaged him in performing 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. In this way, Bali enjoyed the opulences of the heavenly planets. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Rakesh Prabhu, for reading the summary. This is a very, very famous pastime, which you may all have heard at some point. Lord Vamandev and Bali Maharaj. So let's read it from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and see what Shukdev Goswami is teaching us. So we'll start with the verses and go deeper. Shri Rajo Vacha Bale Padatrayam Bhume Kasmadharir Ayachata Bhuteshwara Kripanval Bhuteshwara Kripanaval Labharatho api babandhatam etad veditum ichhamo mahat kotuhalam hinah yancheshwarasya purnasya bandhanam chapi anagasaha. Translation. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything. Why did he beg 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj like a poor man? And when he got the gift for which he had begged, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaj? I am very much anxious to know the mystery of these contradictions. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So, this is a consistent theme in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that Shukdev Goswami will share a few things. Oh, this was the son of this king, and his son was this, and his son was so and so, and so and so got married to so and so, and then his children and her children, etc. And then suddenly he said, oh, Gajendra was saved by the crocodile, by Lord Vishnu when he was caught up in the crocodile. And then Parikshit Maharaj, being very, very inquisitive, wants to know deeper. Oh, tell me more about the Gajendra story. Oh, tell me more about Dhruva's story. How did Dhruva go to forest, and why was the father not supporting, and things like that. Same with Prahlad Maharaj, why is God partial or not partial? So in this one also, in the seventh Manvantara, we discussed in chapter 13, description of the future Manus. What did we discuss? That the Shukdev Goswami says, well, Vamandev came, he took the 3 steps from Bali and gave them to Purandara. So this was very, just like one line was mentioned, and then he moved to 8th Manvantara, the 9th Manvantara, etc. But now Parikshit Maharaj is very, very attentive and wants to hear in more detail. So he's very anxious to know. It's a very, very good quality to be inquisitive. Tad vidhi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya. Anxious to not to know about what's going on, what's the new movie in town, what's the new car, what's the new restaurant, but anxious to hear Harikatha. That's a very good quality. Utkantha. We should be eager and very, very enthusiastic. Utsaha, Nishcha, Dharya. These are the great qualities we should have to hear Harikatha, to hear the holy names or pastimes or qualities of the Supreme Lord. So, very interesting question. Well, if he asked for 3 steps of land and then Bali Maharaj gave, let's say if someone comes and asks, uh, let's say someone comes at your door and asks, can you give me some food? And then you say, okay, I'll give you some food. Okay. Then this person asks, can you give me, a watch, let's say, and say, okay, I'll give you a watch. And then you give also, and interestingly, that person arrests you. Won't that be surprising? Right? That would be surprising for sure. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj is question. His question is very genuine. That what is the mystery behind these contradiction? A person who is begging, right? He begged for 3 paces. So he came as a beggar, or he came as a brahmana to ask for bhiksha. And why did he arrest? So very, very interesting question. That first he begged, he got what he wanted. Bali Maharaj said, okay, I'll give. But then why did he arrest him? So very interesting question. Very, very anxious to know. So let's hear. Anyone has any comments or any additions before we move on? Okay, let's read text number 3. Would someone like to read this one? Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Shri Sukha Uvacha Parajita Shri Sarir Asubhishcha Hapito Hindrena Rajan Prigubhihi Sajivitaha Sarvatmanatan Abhajat Prigun Balihi Sishyo Mahatmartha Nivedanina. Translation. Sukadev Goswami said, O king, when Bali Maharaj lost all his opulence and died in the fight, Shukracharya, a descendant of Bhrigu Muni, brought him back to life. Because of this, the great soul Bali Maharaj became a disciple of Shukracharya and began to serve him with great faith, offering everything he had. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So you remember we discussed the fight of demigods and the demons, and you all answered in the quiz as well that first Bali was hit by a blow of Indra in chapter 11 of this canto. There was a fight when the demons, and first everyone was trying to get the nectar, the demigods and the demons. We discussed that at the beginning, the Samundra Manthan Leela. And then finally Mohini Murti came. Mohini Murti, demons were very attracted to her. They gave the pot to her thinking, oh, she'll be like our wife. She is very loyal to us. She will give us the nectar anyways. Let's give the pot. But Krishna is protector of devotees, Bhakta Vatsala. So he started to distribute the nectar to the demons, or she started to do to the demons. And then the demigods were still thinking, well, what will happen? What will happen? And finally, Rahu's head was chopped off because he was trying to disguise. And then finally, the nectar was over. And it resulted in a fight because they all were waiting for nectar. And in that fight, Bali was hit with a blow of Indra. He was almost dead, but Shukracharya had Mrit Sanjeevani powers. He could revive Bali. We discussed that also. And now, this is the link. This is when Bali Maharaj lost all his opulence and died in the fights. So, now we're able to connect. Shukracharya, descendant of Bhrigu Muni, was able to revive him back by his special powers he had. And then, of course, if someone revives us back to life, won't we be loyal? If someone gives a small thing, this is like giving life back. Right? So, out of gratitude, and of course, he was the guru of the demons. Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. So he served, Bali served Shukracharya and offered everything. So in short, became his loyal disciple. So that's a brief background. We'll move on. I think today, would someone else like to read text number 4?
I can read Prabhu Nandavat's.
Yes, yes, Mataji, please.
Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Tam Brahmana Bhrugava Priyamana Aja Ayajaya Vishvajita Trinakam Jigishamanam Vidina Bishyacha Mahabhishekena Mahanubhavaha. Translation by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu Muni were very pleased with Bali Maharaja, who desired to conquer the kingdom of Indra. Therefore, after purifying him and properly bathing him according to regulative principles, they engaged him in performing the yajna known as Visvajit. Haribol. So the Bhrigu Muni's descendants, and I believe Shukracharya is one of them, were very pleased with Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj here has a desire to win the kingdom of Indra. Obviously, he was defeated, so he's a Kshatriya. He would have that kind of desire. Um, a Kshatriya always fights, and they will hardly take a defeat. So, and then they are starting Vishvajita Yagya. So, we yajnas are performed for conquering lands, for winning, for so many other reasons. So Vishvajit Yagya seems to be the one that will give him the kingdom. Back to you, Prabhu. I don't know what else to add. Hare Krishna. Dandavats.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, it was mentioned in the previous verse also about that descendant of Bhrigu Muni, Shukracharya. So, yes, you rightly mentioned this point. So, basically, we see some of the core principles of bhakti. Of course, what Bali Maharaj did was not unalloyed bhakti, but we can apply the principles. Number one, serving the spiritual master. Right? We see Bali Maharaj is serving the spiritual master. How? To serve him with great faith and offered everything he had. Sarvasvatoma Charane Pariya. Like everything belongs to Guru and Krishna. Saying is easy, but doing it is not easy. So what Bali Maharaj is showing by his example. So everything for the service of Guru and Krishna. Number one, very, very important point. And of course, his desires were not pure. That's a different topic, but there are a lot of lessons here. Purifying him properly. So again, external purification through bathing, through regularly bathing, etc. And then properly bathing, chanting mantras, etc. And following the regulative principles, according to regulative principles. Therefore, regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, etc. So we must follow and do yajna. What is a yajna? Yajna sankirtana prayajanti suvedasa. When we do, after every day getting up, according to the regulative principle, that means in the Brahmahurat hours, get up early, bathe nicely, and engage in the performance of yajna, sankirtana yajna, in the association of devotees. It's even better. Then we can basically, Vishwajit means one who's conquered the world, or Vishwa means world. And what is the biggest victory? The biggest victory is to conquer the cycle of birth and death, not to get a bigger kingdom. But the biggest, we know the story of Dhruva Maharaj. He also wanted a big kingdom. But Indra's kingdom is nothing in compared to Brahma's kingdom. And Brahma's kingdom was compared to what? Broken pieces of glasses by Dhruva Maharaj, compared to when he got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So getting the darshan of the Supreme Lord, chanting the holy names, going back home, there's nothing. That's like diamonds compared to any of the kingdom, whether Indra, Brahma, etc. Lord Shiva also renounced all these kingdoms because he was relishing the holy names. So we can apply these principles of unalloyed service to Guru, properly chanting the holy names in a pure state, both inside and outside, following the regulative principles, then we can certainly get the desired goal of life, and that is Krishna Prema. Any other comments anyone has?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I just want to understand that why the Brahmanas and the descendants of Bhrigu Muni is helping the demons and going against the demigods.
There are two sides, I think, like I need to research more, but there are two sides coming from Bhrigu Muni's side. Like the demonic side also, like the Shukracharya is a Brahmana, but he is a teacher of the demons. Shanda, Amarka, all these generations. So Brahmana is a Brahmana by like culture, teacher, all these principles. But ultimately we know that, but they're not Vaishnava. They're not Vaishnava. They are against that. So just following some Brahmanical principles, some tapasya, some this and that, putting the thread is not a real Brahmana. Real Brahmana means devotee. So, but they were also Brahmanas, but not Vaishnavas. So they were Vishnu Bhakta, Smrita Deva, Viprita Asura. So they were actually in the Asura category, not because of their birth by their qualities. And we will see that later, that how when Lord when he will tell that don't give this promise. He is probably Vishnu, he'll take everything. So a Vaishnava is supposed to encourage, but he'll not encourage because of demonic propensity. So in short, just Brahmana by descendant is not sufficient, or a true Brahmana means Vaishnava. So they were Brahmanas, but not Vaishnavas. So is that?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
So they were also doing like yagyas and etc. But fruitive, more like karmakandi Brahmanas, you can say. Even if they're Brahmanas, like more like karmakandi. You do this, and you will see that in India also. We still see so many karmakandi Brahmanas. They are again. I'm not being judgmental or you know, but that's how things are. Okay, let's read the next verse, text 5.
Prabhuji, I can read.
Okay, Mataji, please read.
Tato ratha kanchana patanadho hayascha haryasvaturanga varna dhvajascha simhina virajamano hutasannad asahavivirisat. Translation. When he clarified butter was offered in the fire of sacrifice, there appeared from the fire a celestial chariot covered with gold and silk. There also appeared yellow horses like those of Indra and the flag marked with a lion. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, very straightforward. They started this yajna. In yajna, what's offered? Ghee is offered, clarified butter. And they were doing this yajna. Why were they doing this yajna? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Why were they doing this? Raise your hand if you know the answer. It's only 2-3 devotees now. Everyone knows. Swati Mataji, you tell. Okay, Lakshmi Mataji will tell. I'm asking those who have not prayed. Sudhir Prabhu, you know why they were doing this Visvajit Yajna?
The demons, Prabhuji?
Yes.
I think to win over, because they got defeated, and to get back, I think, Prabhuji.
Yes, we just read to get back to conquer the kingdom of
Conquer the-
Indra. Yes, thank you. So that was the goal, and they started putting butter or clarified butter, pure, not adulterated, in the fire. And what appeared? Celestial chariot covered with gold and silk. Wow, that's amazing. There also appeared yellow horses like those of Indra. Anyone has seen yellow horses? No. Good. This is especially again going on, therefore we don't see yellow horses. A flag marked with lion. Okay, so let's see what happens further when this yajna was going on. Yes, Vaswati Mataji wants to read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 6. Dhanushcha divyam puratopanadyam tunav ariktau kavacham cha divyam pitamahastasya dadau cha malam amlana pushpam jalajam cha shukraha. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. A gilded bow, 2 quivers of infallible arrows, and celestial armor also appeared. Bali Maharaja's grandfather Prahlad Maharaja offered Bali a garland of flowers that would never fade, and Shukracharya gave him a conch shell. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj also appeared. The Prahlad Maharaj is the
grandfather.
grandfather of Bali, the father of Virochan. Virochan is the father of Bali. And so basically, we see here one thing: service to Guru and blessings of elders. They are very powerful. Blessings of others very powerful. So he's basically getting ready for the war, right? Getting some celestial chariot and quivers and bow and blessings and flowers that would never fade away. Wow, that's all amazing. And special conch given by our Shukracharya. Okay, let's keep moving. Anyone else wants to read text 7? Yes, Jyoti Mataji, you can please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Text 7. Evam sa viprajita yodhanartas taikalpita swastya yano atha vipran pradakshini kritya krita pranamaha prahradam amantrya namaschakara. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Maharaj Bali had thus performed the special ritualistic ceremony advised by Brahmanas and had received by their grace the equipment for fighting, he circumambulated the Brahmanas and offered them obeisances. He also saluted Prahlad Maharaj and offered obeisances to him. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, quite straightforward. Number one, the yajna was for ritualistic. It was not the topmost bhakti yajna going on. It was not the. It was for a purpose, and the purpose was to get the kingdom. And he got the right equipment and everything, circumambulate, basically took everyone's blessings, offered them obeisance, offered them, dan, dakshina, etc. And was all ready to fight, offering respects to the grandfather, offering obeisance. So this has lot of power. When we bow down, naturally blessings pour. And I like this famous story from Mahabharata when Yudhishthira Maharaj bowed down to, before the battle was about to begin, bowed down to his teacher Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama, his grandfather. Like here, Bali Maharaj is bowing down to his grandfather. Blessings are naturally pouring. So Bhishma Pitama said, Vijay Bhav, may you be victorious. And guess who was not very happy with this? Duryodhana. Because like Bhishma is on the side of Duryodhana and giving his opponent the blessing to be victorious. That sounds weird. So he said, well, Bhishma, what are you doing? Kind of, you are on my side and giving him blessing to be victorious. And then Vishnu said, very nice thing. Well, if you would have bowed down to your elder brother Yudhishthira Maharaj, he would have given you the same blessing to be victorious. So I like that dialogue or that exchange of words. When we bow down, there is a lot of merits in there. Therefore, we should bow down to devotees, bow down to deities, bow down to Tulsi Maharani, bow down to the holy dham, bow down even mentally, bow down to the holy places, bow down to the holy rivers. So there is no harm in bowing down. Rather, when we don't bow down, we know what happens. This whole story begins when Indra didn't bow down to his guru, Brihaspati, out of pride. Because when we bow down, it's a sign of humility also. It's a sign of surrender. It's a sign of submission. So there's a beautiful picture in this, for those who have the hard copies, I've shared in the group. So here we see, guess who is on the right side? Any guesses? Guess who's in the middle first?
Bali
The middle,
Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj.
Yes.
On the right side.
On the
Yeah,
right,
Prahlad
it's
Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Left
And
is
on the left,
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya.
Wonderful. They're scholars. And he's giving a conchshell. Bali Maharaj is being blessed by Prahlad Maharaj. The quiver of arrows, the what's that word used? The garland which will not fade away, the bow, shield, and the fire, flowers that will not fade. So Shukracharya gave him. So a picture, it's good to get that deeper in our heart and absorb that. So the ceremony happened and Bali Maharaj is all set. So let's see what happens. We'll read text 8. Babu, Kanayan, Prabhu, you want to read? 8. Together. Okay, then Prabhu has his hand up. So, you read, right? Want to read more? Okay, let's give chance to everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam devotees, all glories to Prabhupada. Atharaya ratham dibbam Brigudottam Maharatha Shashrakdhara Atha Shanna Dhanavi Kadkidrita Shuddhu Hemangadala Sadbahu Spuran Makara Kundala Rarajaratham Arura Dishnayastha Iva Habhyat. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Then, after getting on the chariot given by Shukracharya, Bali Maharaja, decorated with nice garland, put the protective armor on his body, equipped himself with a bow, and took up a sword and quiver of arrows. When he sat down on the seat of chariot, his arms decorated with golden bangles, and his ears sapphire earrings. He shone like a worshippable fire. Worshipable fire. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you, Nayan Prabhu, so much for reading. So, quite straightforward, just shows how Bali Maharaj is ready, and we just saw the picture, the quiver of arrows, which was inexhaustible. He had the blessings of Guru, the blessings of his great Mahajan grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, who was not an ordinary person. We know that it's from 7th canto. Right from his childhood, he was such an exalted devotee. And he's all basically, Bali Maharaj is all ready. So all this beautiful description of his arms and ears are also mentioned. So let's see how he is now heading towards the fight. Let's see what happens. Yes, Lakshay, please, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Tuljaiśvarya Bala Sribi Swaya Yutair Daita Yutapai Piba Bir Iva Kam Drigbir Dahabi Paridin Iva Rutovika San Mahatim Ashurim Dvajim Nim Vibhu Yayav Indra Purim Sridham Kampayan Iva Rodashi. Translation: When he assembled with his own soldiers and the demon chief, who were equal to him in strength, opulence, and beauty, they appeared as if they would swallow the sky and burn all direction with their vision. After thus gathering the demonic soldiers, Bali Maharaj departed for opulent capital of Indra. Indeed, he seemed to make the entire surface of the world tremble. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhu. So, a lot of strength, opulence, beauty, blessings is all charged up to fight. So, if we also have to fight the demoniac forces, we also need to have blessings of Guru, blessings of elders, blessings of devotees, and our own sincerity. Then the sins kind of tremble. Then they burn, all these sins are burned from all directions, right? If one is sincerely following Krishna consciousness. So it's an analogy you can think of. And now he's headed to Indrapuri, the capital of Indra. And let's see what happened. Everyone seemed to be tremble, or the whole world seemed to tremble because of the strength and the potency which Bali Maharaj was carrying. Okay, last verse for today, text 12. Yes, Ekant Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna everyone. Ramyam upavano dhyanai Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Nandana debihi kujad vihanga mitunair gayan matta madhuvartathai pravala phala push poru bara shakhamana durmai. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. King Indra's city was full of pleasing orchards and gardens such as the Nandana garden. Because of the weight of the flowers, leaves and fruit, the branches of the eternally existing trees were bending down. The gardens were visited by a pair of chirping birds and singing bees. The entire atmosphere was celestial. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So from this verse onwards, we will see the description of Indra's city. So be careful in hearing. Well, what does Prabhupada tell us? Whenever there is description of upper planets, Prabhupada always tells one thing. Well, if these tiny planets are so beautiful, or these tiny creatures of upper planets are so beautiful, how much beautiful must be the Vrindavan? How much beautiful must be the creator of all these creation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that should be our meditation. We should not try to aspire to go to these upper planets. Oh, beautiful gardens, Nandana gardens. Oh, nice flowers. Oh, this and that. Ramya. Ramya means very pleasing. We have our His Grace Ramya Prabhu. There's always there to help us, please us by His guidance, by His words, by His prayers, by His blessings, and for not just 1 or 2 years, for practically for the last 50 years, His whole life is to please others. So Prabhupada gave him this beautiful name, to our dear Ramya Prabhu. Ramya means very, very pleasing. Upavanam, very with orchards. Vana means forest. Upavanam. So there will be a lot of description about this wonderful city of Indra, and Bali Maharaj has departed to this city to basically attack Indra, and he has received the right blessings also. So the odds seem to be in his favor, but you never know what's going to come. So we'll pause here and then continue tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is a special class about Lord Varadev, because tomorrow is his birthday, appearance day. Just kidding. So by Sudhir Prabhu and Renuka Mataji, so don't forget that. So invite all your friends, well-wishers and enemies also, because they will become friends by hearing that special class. Okay. So any other comments, questions before we stop for today? Okay, so we will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bali Maharaj ki jai, Swami Bhagavatam ki jai. Vanchita kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.